So I know I've seen a lot of comments on YouTube and a lot of comments, or I should say tweets on Twitter, talking about this whole Pokemon Sword and Shield debacle. People saying that they think there should be less Pokemon. People saying that they should keep with tradition and have the same amount of Pokemon in it. Personally, I'm of the opinion that it's been years and years. They've never had to remove a Pokemon. And yeah, I think they should just keep them like that. But this video is basically about going over what some Japanese audience might think about the National Dex cut. So I've seen comments and tweets on YouTube, and all of them have basically been the same. People supporting it, people going against it, just like in every community. So the closest thing I could find to like a well thought out message, not saying that no side's well thought out, I'm just saying this is the best well thought out opinion, I guess, from a Japanese fan of Pokemon that I could find. And I found this on Twitter. It was linked on Twitter. Can't remember the username, but it's been linked several times, so I don't think a direct shout out would really matter. But this was found on the E3 gameplay video, which is, I believe, this video right now. Let's see here. I think it is, right? Yeah, it's on the video, the same one, and it's actually currently sitting at quite a few dislikes. I've got it pulled up already here. It has 60,000 dislikes. I'm one of those dislikes because it's important to, if you don't like something about a game, dislike bomb it, like bomb it. I don't care what your opinion is. You're free to do whatever you want. If you dislike something, you can dislike the video. So I disliked it to kind of send a message that I didn't like the announcement they made. Now this is an opinion from a guy, a Japanese person, who left a comment to this video. Once again, this is just one guy's opinion, but it's a well thought out opinion, and I figured I would share it, and this, I figure, shares a good idea of how the Japanese fans feel. So he says here, people here in Japan are very angry about this also. This is a huge deal for two reasons. The first reason is that in Japan we are rarely vocal about our opinions because we don't like to start conflict. If we are very passionate about something and tell people our opinion publicly, it must be very important. And Pokemon, he goes on to say, Pokemon is a very important series in Japan and there's a lot of care about it. They could have definitely added all of the Pokemon and had no real reason to cut them. The Switch can definitely handle 1,000 plus Pokemon models. It is much more powerful than the 3DS, and that could handle over 800 models. And he also says here that it handled their walking, running animations as well. In case you didn't know what he's talking about here, in Pokemon Sun and Moon, there were data miners who got into the game's files and saw that every Pokemon in the game, all 800 Pokemon, had running and walking animations, hinting that that could have been a feature in the game. I saw a point about this, that if Pokemon Sword and Shield, a big issue for them, as Masuda says, is the animations, why would they have the time to, in Pokemon Sun and Moon, have over 800 walking and running animations for each Pokemon, and then just scrap the idea? Okay, let's go on. They already had every old Pokemon model from Sun and Moon to use, and all they would have to do is update it graphic-wise. I've saw that argument a lot too, I agree with that. And they already have the 151 Kanto models finished from Pokemon Let's Go. That is true as well. They could have had Sword and Shield as priority and had the best team working on the game, but they didn't. Instead, they sidelined Pokemon in favor of the new game. And if you don't know, that new game he's talking about is Town. I think that's the working title. Personally, I think it looks alright. I'll definitely most likely play it just because I like the whole fantasy style game, and it's made by Game Freak, which made Pokemon. But with how things are going, I don't know. So I think this part is mostly speculation. He says they didn't hire enough people to work on the game and treated it like it wasn't important. That's definitely a good point to make as well. The second reason this is a problem is that when they realized they weren't going to have enough time to update every Pokemon model and put it into the game, they chose not to hire more people. And he goes on to talk about that. And he's saying they think money is more important than making a game great. The corporate greed is one of the biggest issues people have with this whole thing. Game Freak and Nintendo are planning on cutting a ton of Pokemon that people love from their future games because they don't want to bother hiring more people or spending more time and money to make the games fun for everyone. And yeah, he just basically goes on to summarize how everybody feels. I don't want to kill too much time by reading it, so we'll just start from here again. Well, let's start from here. He says something important here. Basically talks about how every step in a Pokemon game, they take a couple steps back because they'll add new features everyone likes and then they get rid of them. And they're trying to pretending like nobody notices. And like here, he says some people are pretending not to notice these things and are still looking through rose-colored glasses. And he hopes that the English phrase he got right. And he says that the problem with that is that it allows Game Freak to get away with almost everything or anything. That is partially why there is a drop in quality. They don't listen to their fans for the most part, and that has to change. Pokemon is an important franchise that deserves a super high quality game with a ton of time and effort like Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey. And in case you were living under a rock or you just don't know, Breath of the Wild was delayed for several years, and it won Game of the Year in 2017. I think it was supposed to come out in like 2015 or 2014. Probably 2015. Yeah, and they get rid of very popular and creative things like Mega Evolution and figured one-time gimmicks. And if you like those gimmicks, like I've said before, if you like those gimmicks, that's fine. But it shows they're not listening to what the majority of the fans want. And now they're giving us an unfinished product that is even less than their 3DS games did. That is not acceptable, and it is a bigger problem that Nintendo and Game Freak think is okay to put less effort into Pokemon games because we will buy them anyway. People want to let them know what we are tired of People want to let them know that we are tired of our favorite games being set aside. And yeah, that's basically how I feel a lot of people feel about this right now. At least the people who are on the hashtag bring back National Dex side. And this is just from a Japanese individual, but he basically summarizes how a lot of the bring National Dex people feel. And to add to that, I found this post on Twitter from this guy right here, the Hero IX at the Scribble F. He's got 280 likes. He says here, in the meme, this is a 4 GB game with over 800 Pokemon, right? Yup. Can a Switch cartridge hold 32 GB? Seems right to me. And the models in Gen 8 are the same as Gen 7 but upscaled. Makes sense to me. So Sword and Shield should support all Pokemon. There are too many Pokemon to transfer. It ain't not in Galar Dex. And yeah, basically that's how people feel. They did it in Sun and Moon, a 4 GB cartridge. And the Switch cartridge can hold 32 gigs, but no, that's not good enough for them. Personally, I've already said this. I agree with this meme. I agree with this totally. And that's about all I can cover for this half of the video. If you were watching for what Japanese people or this Japanese audience think about this Sword and Shield change, you can go ahead and click off the video now, because now I'm going to talk about something that not a lot of people have been talking about. That's Pokemon Masters. Now, if you remember, Pokemon Masters was shown in the Nintendo Direct, and then since then, not a lot of people have talked about it, but you can actually Google Pokemon Masters, the mobile game, which I think is going to play kind of like Fire Emblem Heroes, and there are no results about it, really. The only results you have is, that's right, the IGN Wiki Guide. I'm personally really excited about this game, but there's really not a lot of hype around it. Not a lot of hype behind it, which I understand as well because it's a mobile game, and there are a lot of people who don't like the mobile scene, and that's fine too. To each their own. You're allowed to dislike things. I just thought it was interesting how you have this really good artwork here of Red, of Steven, forgot her name, of Rosa, Cynthia, Lance, Brock, and then you have your protagonists here. I think it's interesting how this game looks like an interesting mobile game at least, and nobody's really talking about it. So yeah, I just figured I'd cut that in the end of the video here. They said that we'd get more news in June, and it's June 16th right now, so hopefully we hear something before the end of the month. And that'll about do it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you have something to say, comment down below. And if you feel like, subscribe. And of course, as always, guys, I do appreciate feedback, criticism, dislikes, likes, however you feel about the video. let me know. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace off.